Hey, Ag Power class. Today I was hoping to leave powertrains, PTOs, and transmissions and move into hydraulics and three-point hitches and some other things associated with the hydraulic system. But as I've been going through some of your all's evaluation for powertrains, you guys kind of missed the mark. And I don't know if it's because I did a poor job explaining what I'm looking for or if you're getting lazy on me. So I'm going to refer back to the worksheet. If that we look at the powertrain review from yesterday, you've got the flashback up here, and then it says we have two options. One, we can find a tractor that we can physically look at on our farm or in the shed, at home, whatever it is, or we can find a tractor online. So I give you some suggestions. We could look at Google. We could go to Tractor House. There's another site called Auction Time where they post pictures of tractors that are available for sale. What a lot of what I'm seeing is people just putting parts down and they don't know if that is actually associated with the tractor that they've selected. So I'll give you a walkthrough. This website, Tractor House, lists all sorts of farm equipment that's available for sale. Tractor we kind of go back to in class a lot is the John Deere 4440. And from having run one and being around them, I know that that tractor is between 100 and 175 horsepower. And then they're all alphabetical, so you can just choose the manufacturer of your choice. And then we can look here. Here's all the models. So I said the 4430 is the one I'm after. You could do any of these. I am sure that most of these models have the picture angles that I'm looking for. So we could just scroll down. The key to using this as the resource is going to be trying to find enough pictures in order to make it work. So let's take this one here. We see there's 26 pictures. That's more than the 17. So hopefully in those 26, we can see some interior pictures so we know what kind of clutch we've got, what kind of transmission we've got, and that sort of thing. So question number one would have been, question number one, list the make and model of the tractor and paste a photo below. So this is a 1977 John Deere 4430, and we've got a picture of the one that we're looking at. There she is. Number two, it asks us to identify the type of transmission that this tractor has and paste a photo. Now, we obviously need a picture of the interior of this tractor, or if you're looking on Google, I would take a picture of the actual transmission housing, but you have to be sure it's the right one. Looking at the housing isn't going to tell you if it's a power shift or if it's just a straight gear shift fork or if it's a synchronized, okay? So we'd filter through all these photos here and we'd see what the interior is. Now, having been around these tractors enough, I know they were all power shift transmissions. So you could actually shift these on the go because of the clutch packs that are in the transmission. Okay, so then take a screenshot of that or copy and paste the picture, and voila, power shift, got a picture. Next, photograph the clutch pedal. So we know that the clutch pedal here has one pad. Then we're going to go photograph the brake pedals. So come over here. And we've got some interior pictures. Again, the nice thing about the 26 photos on Tractor House. And then just come down here and take a screenshot of those. Make sure our cursor's in the right place. I gotta move my... But then put that in. We've got the brake pedals. Then identify the PTO speed of this tractor. Good question. So we'd have to go back to Tractor House and we'd have to look at some exterior shots. The 4430 was manufactured with both a 540 and 1000 RPM. Some of you all, I don't know if you didn't pick up on that, so you might have to go back and rewatch the screencast on power takeoffs, but some of you all are putting down PTO speeds in miles per hour. That's incorrect. Okay. So what we see here is I can count 6 splines on that shaft. You can enlarge it. That is a 540. You could actually take that housing apart and flip that shaft around, and you could have 1,000 RPM PTO. So then I would take a picture of that and I would put it in. And then the bonus, just a flashback, what type of tires do we have? So we go to a tire picture. Those are definitely R1 ag tread tires. And if we wanted to check again, we see that they're not the flat tread industrials. They're not super deep lug R2s. They're not a turf design. They are an R1. Okay, so that is what I'm looking for. Instead of moving ahead, I want you to go back and I want you to correct your work. Try and find a tractor on here. This evaluation was an opportunity for you to get out of the house and take a picture of a real piece of equipment that you have at your disposal. If you're not up for that, that's fine. If you don't have that option, that's fine. But don't just Google search things that are not valid. A lot of the transmissions that I'm seeing are just pieces of metal on a pallet, and who knows if it's actually the 4430 or not. Okay. If you don't know what type of transmission the tractor has, you could always just Google search that. A lot of them, if that they are synchronized, that's a big marketing angle. So they'll actually say synchro or synchronized on the hood. Again, the John Deere's, they had a power shift transmission. You could Google that. A lot of times in the description, it'll say power shift transmission when you get down here. So take your time, do it correctly, do it again, please, if that you haven't done it this way. Otherwise, I am going to ding you pretty hard on your grade. While I've got you, if you would add these to your notes, we'll talk a little bit about tractor hydraulic systems. This will just be an introduction. That way tomorrow I can turn you loose on the reading from the textbook. So if you want to, you can think of tractor hydraulics as the circulatory system of the tractor, kind of comparatively to a human being. The heart in this whole system is the hydraulic pump, which is typically belt-driven or gear-driven. Most of the time it's going to be gear-driven. We don't see a lot of belt-driven hydraulic pumps. The hydraulic system powers multiple actions that the tractor requires. So we've got power steering, obviously. Most of the time that is linked to the hydraulic pump and the hydraulic system that does everything else on the tractor. On some models, it was a separate system, like the Ford 6610 that I keep going back to. They actually had a power steering reservoir that was separate from the hydraulic pump, used for all the other auxiliary actions of the tractor. We've got, on some tractors, a wet clutch, uses the hydraulic pump and hydraulic fluid. Lots of times, though, as we read, that can actually be a separate hydraulic system called a master cylinder and a slave cylinder. And that would utilize the hydraulic fluid, brake fluid, just like an automobile. And that's typically what we see. Differential lock. So probably should talk about this as we leave powertrains and move into hydraulics. Most of the time, tractors have what we call an open differential, which means that just one wheel will rotate with power and cause the tractor to move forward. Now, sometimes that one wheel gets spinning because it's stuck in mud, the load we're trying to pull is too heavy, the tractor's getting bogged down, so we must engage a locking differential. So then both wheels will spin. Depending upon the tractor, the load, the wheel with the most load will be the one that actually has the gearing and is causing that tire to rotate. So most of the time, you're not going to have the differential locked in place, but there's a little pedal there, and that operates with a hydraulic piston and allows fluid to move those gears in that final drive. We've got a wet clutch. If that clutch is an oil bath type where it's going to be sprayed with oil or lubricated with oil. Not very common, but it is still something that does exist. Hydraulic front wheel drive. So we said that four-wheel drive tractors and MFWD drive tractors, they have a mechanical front wheel assist. Some manufacturers did make a front wheel assist that was hydraulically driven, and the giveaway on those is the hydraulic hose. So it could be mechanical or it could be hydraulic. And when you engage that, it's going to put fluid through that hose and turn the gear set in that hub. The thing, we've got the independent PTO, and as we talked about, mechanical PTO versus independent PTO. Independent PTO is powered by that hydraulic system. So when we pull that lever, and that lever on this tractor is right here, but the PTO shaft is down here. It sends hydraulic fluid to that shaft and then engages whatever we are trying to power as an implement. Then we have the two components of the hydraulic system that kind of ring true to the use of hydraulics as we know them on the tractor. The first is probably our auxiliary remotes, and that is going to power a loader, that's going to power hydraulic cylinders on attached implements, and then the 3-point hitch lift. And that's those arms that come out of the back of the tractor. And if you're like me, they kind of just swing around there if there's no implement on them. Some tractors have a fancy little spring that keeps them together and keeps them from clanking around. But if you go back and forth from using that 3-point hitch quite a bit, a lot of times they just sit there and they swing around. So those are the systems. I'll ask that you put those in your notes. Again, you can stop this screencast and write those down. So if you have any questions about redoing the assignment, please let me know. There are about 1 million tractors on Tractor House. I am positive you could find one that has photographs of everything that I asked for. Or get outdoors and take a picture of an actual tractor. But please don't break quarantine. Guys, this social distancing thing is working. We are seeing a huge threshold of cases that are being reported as compared to other states where the rules aren't as strict right now. So props to you all for hanging in there. I know it's tough, but we're gonna, as everyone says, get through this. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, guys.